do here, we're doing an intro here. So, like, I'll introduce myself, and then Britt will introduce, and then you'll introduce yourself.
Okay. No problem.
Shut up, Britt.
I'm sorry. I like how, like, on the fence you were about misgendering me there, so you just skipped a pronoun entirely and called me...
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that was amazing, Spencer. I appreciate that. I just appreciate your awkward hesitation.
I'm here to help. Yeah, so as you can see in the layout here, pretty straightforward. You'll introduce yourself and say whatever you want, and then we'll go through the rest of it, and then we'll start talking. Sound good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Heck yeah, let's do it. All right, you ready, Britt?
Indeed.
Hey, I'm Spencer.
And I'm Britain.
And I'm Aayush, aka ScreamsInMerzbow. So my page has been going on since 2019. We have 52,000 likes on Facebook and 38K followers on Instagram. So we've come a long way.
Hell yeah. Since 2011, Buckethead has released 290 albums in his Pikes series, and we're going to listen to them
3 at a time.
This is Getting Head. Bucketcast.
Welcome, bot slogs, friends, and bucketheads. This is episode 44 of Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
I've got nothing for 44 other than that it's like 2 times 22.
Isn't that like the big racist thing, or is that 88?
That's 88.
Oh,
44 is
okay.
half racist.
Okay, yeah, it's the 14 and then the 88.
Yeah, if you're only a little racist, that's when you're into 44.
Half race, yeah. Just, can I get the half portion of the hating minorities? Just
Terrible.
Okay.
Hate to see it.
We are joined by a guest today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are. Hell yeah.
So, Spencer, since you're the one who landed this guest, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you met him?
Okay. All right. Well, so I do meme stuff on the internet. You probably know that about me if you're listening to this. And one of the other meme pages that I see a lot, and one of the first, I think, like really kind of in-depth, dorky, like music nerd meme pages that I really like kind of latched onto and was like, oh yeah. Whoever is behind this, like, they get it. They're rad. One of the first kind of pages that I found was ScreamsInMerzbow. Hey. Now, we have them as a guest. Yeah. It's amazing. We're here to talk about Buckethead, weirdly enough, but, we're here to talk about life, the universe, and everything as well.
Indeed.
Wait, that's 42, not 44, huh?
No, we already talked about that. Yeah, Wang, sorry.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us kind of how you, started memeing, kind of your... why don't you tell us what you're doing with memes, Aayush?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so 2018, I was not really heavily into music, so I was doing a lot of other things in college, and suddenly this friend pops up and introduces me to a Facebook group called Patrician Music Chart Posting, because I started listening to more of the MU core, the 4chan board associated with music, that the kind of stuff they listen to, like MF Doom and other things. So, okay, so I got into this group. It was like 58,000 members, and suddenly I got into it. I got the grasp of it, and I started posting a lot of memes, but those are not the ones I made. So, and then I started making my own memes and started posting there. Those are a lot of memes and other things like album cover mashups, and then suddenly a guy, the comment said, "Yo, dude, you should start a page." And then I was shocked. I was like, wow, I think I should do this. So it came out in June 2019, but I only started blowing up on Instagram since January 2021. 20, sorry. 2020.
Yeah. Yeah, the pandemic really kind of, I feel like really accelerated the growth of a lot of like that kind of content on the internet, you know? People are depressed, I think, you know, and they want to laugh at dumb, goofy stuff.
Yeah,
they also, I think they recognize like people that care about what it is that they're making jokes about, you know? Because it's like, there's a lot of throwaway humor in memes, but I think that like depending on like how you curate or how you make stuff, you can really show like a level of like care about a property, about a band, about whatever, you know?
I mean, I think ultimately what memes are a postmodern way of communicating with people with similar worldviews.
Yes, that's correct.
Or life experience. Yeah.
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 Because it's like, you know, it's not actually even a lot of times like recognizing the subject of what you're talking about. It's like making commentary on something entirely different. Like, I mean, I make a lot of memes about Tool fans, but they're not really about anything. They're just like using someone as a punching bag. I don't hate Tool. I don't really even hate Tool fans for the most part.
Yeah,
I've met a few weird Tool fans, and everyone's met a few weird Tool fans.
Into each life, a few weird Tool fans must fall.
Indeed.
As the prophecy says.
I mean, because, you know, they're a big metal band with a large following, and, you know, weird people are into metal, and they have one of the largest followings in that genre, and so, like, of course, there are going to be some weird people who listen to music. There's weird people who like every band, even like bands that you don't think weird people like.
Buckethead.
For sure, yeah.
So,
yeah, exactly. Buckethead, yes.
Buckethead, yeah, definitely.
A perfect example. A few weirdos hanging around, talking about Buckethead. That's what we like to see.
Honestly, I think it's kind of strange how few Buckethead memes there are on the internet, being how, I'd say, postmodern Buckethead's fan base skews.
I agree. Hopefully we can change that.
Hopefully.
We need to make Buckethead the new Mortis.
I need to, like, try making some Buckethead memes after this.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, please, yeah.
We got it.
We will definitely repost them on our accounts and the Buckethead account, the Bucketcast.
1,000%. So you live in India, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Nepal right now, but I've lived in India since
Nepal.
2013. So
wow.
I was born and raised in Nepal,
dude.
And I moved to India in 2013. I'm just here right now at my parents' house.
Nice.
Fantastic. Nice. That's super cool. That's a part of the world I'd really like to visit someday. It seems really interesting. There's a lot of culture. There's a lot of like things to see.
Now,
I would imagine
there is a lot of culture, but I'd actually like to know more about, especially since you're like a music memer and you're really into music. What is music like, and what is the music scene like in Nepal and like India, wherever you have like kind of more familiarity?
Okay, so let's talk about Nepal, where I'm at first. We have a pretty decent music scene. Since I was a kid, I used to have a guitar in music class. There used to be a guitar teacher who used to be in a band called Mount 8848, which is the height of Mount Everest. So that dude was really awesome.
Nice.
So I had a grasp of the rock metal scene since I was a kid here. But in India, where I live, it's non-existent. You don't have a scene of anything. It's a really boring place. So the only the kids only listen to like Bollywood and whatever that's on the top 40 of the Billboard charts.
So there is a lot of American music there, though, like, you know, American pop and, I mean, Western pop.
Mostly top 40 stuff, you know, like Taylor Swift, Drake, whatever that. Billboard.
It's everywhere. Like, it's unavoidable.
That's it's interesting that it makes it to like obscure places in India. I mean, that makes sense too, but like that's just interesting to me, you know? That's wild.
Yeah, that is super wild. And so like, but there are obviously people, because you said you kind of got into music via someone else around you, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't the webpage? Yeah, and so there is kind of a scene of like music appreciators there, yeah? Just not a ton of music to go see?
Yes, there will be people like me. I assume that there will be people like me, but the thing is that we're all scattered. Like, we don't really have get-togethers. We don't really get together at all. It's so scattered around. We don't even know who listens to what, and that's an issue.
No.
We know a tiny bit of what that's like by growing up in Alaska. Because, like, both Britt and I are from Alaska, and growing up there, like, we're still in the U.S., obviously, and it was still, like, a very different place, but we were very isolated from the main, center of culture, which is, like, the contiguous United States.
In general, our music culture in Alaska was, like, on an 8-year time delay, so Nirvana got big in Alaska when we were, like, in our early teens or something, in, like, 2000, 1999. It was weird.
No problem.
It was super weird.
So anyways, what's up with you, Britt? How you been?
I've been well, man. It's getting hot here again. It's getting into the 90s, or as everyone except for Americans might know it, the 30s.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like the smoke is back too, so it's super smoky.
Right. So
today.
That's the thing. It's so weird now. In the summertime, I look up at the sky, and if the sky is like kind of a bluish gray, I'm like, is it overcast or like dusk, or is it just fucking smoke again? And it's always smoke.
The smoke really sucks. God,
it does.
Hate to experience it. Right. Yeah.
Like, as someone who smokes on my own volition, I really hate the smoke that I don't choose to inhale.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm like, if
sure.
they mentholized it, if it was menthol smoke in the air, I'd be fine with it, but it's not. And so maybe I should just walk around with like a menthol filter. Maybe that'd be good.
That's fucked.
How are you doing, Spencer?
I'm doing okay. So I had a thing happen to me recently. It is currently Thursday night. So on Sunday night, I went to a park, local park, to hang out with a friend who is going to be moving to another state at the end of the month. And this is one of probably the last times I would get to see that person. So I went to go hang out with that person. They were having like kind of a get together at the park. And as part of that get together, I was, introduced to playing Capture the Flag, which
you've never. What do you mean introduced? You've never played Capture the Flag before?
No, I mean I have, but like, dude, I didn't remember fucking literally anything about that game. Like,
really?
It's so been simple. A long time.
Come on.
Like I have played more Capture the Flag in video games than I have in real life by a percentage of like 1 billion.
Just looking at you, I could tell you that.
Exactly. I have played so much Halo 3, so much Halo Reach, like Halo 2, all that shit.
Have you played any
of
that Halo Reach Around?
Oh, that's pretty good. No. Halo Rusty Trombone. Whatever. Shut up. Shut your face. Whatever. So I ended up playing Capture the Flag, which, if you're not familiar with Capture the Flag, which I was not outside of like a video game context until like the other day, basically it involves you running around a lot, like so much fucking running. So I walk a lot. I'm an active person. According to my phone, I walk between, 3 and 12 miles a day. It's a decent amount. I do a lot of walking. I like walking a lot. I like being active. Yeah. So I was like, cool, running around. Like, that's chill. I walk around all the time. That's no
muscle
problem.
Group entirely. Different muscle group entirely.
Hey, Britt.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
A different fucking muscle group entirely.
No, Britt, it's a different fucking muscle group entirely.
It is. It's like upper legs versus lower legs. And like, so here's the thing. Sorry for this quick aside, but I'm friends with a marathon runner who's done like at least a half a dozen marathons. I decided to go hiking with them up Mailbox Peak, which is an incredibly highly graded mountain here in Washington. And I like pretty much charged up the mountain because I hike a lot and I walk a lot. They don't walk or hike a lot. They just run. And so I actually had to carry them down the mountain because they couldn't walk at all.
Jesus Christ.
It sucked. It really fucking sucked.
That sounds terrible.
It was so miserable that I didn't talk to them for like, we were like really good friends. I didn't talk to them for like 6 months after we went hiking together. Because I was just like, so like I just had such bad feelings about that whole situation and having to carry someone down an incredibly steep mountain.
That's a lot.
It is.
So, as a result of running around for like 3 hours, which is probably more running than I have done in the last 3 years combined.
Yeah.
I was in so much pain that I literally could not walk the next day. I had to call out of work. I have been in so much pain since Sunday. It only reprieved or started to reprieve yesterday evening.
You know what you got, Spencer? You got ran through, boy.
I did. It was fucked. And so I've been suffering from that since then, and it's been an adventure. I don't recommend running.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
One question for you, Spencer.
Yes.
You suffer, but why?
Nice. Nice. Hey, Britt, can you can you hit us with a bucket fact?
I think I could probably do that.
Bucket fact, 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 bucket fact.
Today we're going to talk about Buckethead's relationship with producer, keyboardist, and electronic artist Travis Dickerson, who we've talked about briefly before.
I'm not going to not laugh at that name.
Travis Dickerson.
I hardly know her.
Travis Dickerson, I hardly know their son. Keyboardist and electronic artist Travis Dickerson, with whom Bucket has worked with for about 20 years at this point, off and on. According to Buckethead, from a 2003 interview with Riffage magazine, Dickerson and him met somewhere in the mid-90s at a wax museum in San Francisco called the Medieval Dungeon.
Of course they did.
Buckethead says, at one point I was in there with an audio recorder and someone asked me what I was doing. I said I was recording the sounds of the dungeon. He told me that he had a recording studio in Southern California and we became friends, and that was Travis. Since then, Travis and him have recorded a ton of projects together, including their own band together, Cobra Strike. Also, Travis was a member of the Cornbugs for a few years. 2 full albums were recorded under the name Buckethead and Travis Dickerson. And Dickerson has also recorded almost all of Viggo Mortensen's albums, and is the one who actually introduced Buckethead to Viggo Mortensen in the first place.
Wow, that's wild.
So he's been involved with like basically everything from like 2001 up until the Pikes.
We got to get that guy on the podcast.
I know. I've actually, and also I actually just found this out today. Apparently, Maximum Bob in the Stockyard Skinners record all of their stuff at TDRS, which is Travis Dickerson's recording studio that he still has. And so there's a lot of connections there with the Buckethead universe. And I think that's pretty awesome. So buckets off to Travis Dickerson, one of the most frequent and important planets in the Buckethead orbit.
Bucket fact.
That was lovely and cheesy. It was great, Britt. Thanks.
Thank you.
Amazing. Well, we listened to 3 Pikes today. Again, that's what we do every week.
We absolutely did. We listened to Pike 130, Pike 131, and Pike 132, which are Down by the Bayou Part 2, Down by the Bayou Part 1, and then Chamber of Drawers, respectively.
I thought it was Down the Bayou.
Yeah, it's actually interesting because
Is it?
The Pike 130 Part 2 is ahead of Part 1, so that was pretty interesting.
I know, right? And so he releases weird, a lot of things out of order. But Pike 130, they were only released 3 days apart. So Pike 130, Down by the Bayou, Part 2, was released on April 25th.
It's Down the Bayou.
Down the Bayou?
Yeah.
There's no in?
Yeah.
Really?
Down the Bayou. Let me just confirm.
It's not.
Sorry.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
It's
Hold on.
down in the Bayou, actually.
The inn it's down in the Bayou, Spencer.
Is it? Is
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yeah,
There's
thank you for
in-
the correction. That was incorrect. Thanks for the incorrection. Appreciate that. So anyway, Down in the Bayou Part 2, released on April 25th, 2015, which is going to be 4 days after Pike 129 Forever Lake.
Wow.
Yeah. I liked this a lot.
Me too. This one was my favorite one this week.
Honestly, I
this
couldn't
first
really
one.
choose between Down in the Bayou Part 1 and Down in the Bayou Part 2.
I think they're both really good. Yeah.
Honestly, so I noticed that Part 2 happened first, and so I actually listened to them out of order. I listened to them, or in order, I guess. I listened to Down in the Bayou Part 1, and then Down in the Bayou Part 2. They flow together really well.
Nice. But yeah, part 2, I listened to them in the release order, I guess. So part 2, really cool. Like, I actually like this one a lot. It's very sludgy, like very alternative rock, alternative metal, sludge, a little bit of new metal here and there.
Yeah, lots of like Black Sabbath type riffs, and then some maybe some Black Label Society type stuff, some Down type stuff here and there. Real sludgy, a
Really
little doomy
down
at times, but it was pretty cool. I like the album. Actually, you know what? The last song was actually hella Deftones. It was like this big atmospheric
last song
thing
was really good,
with
yeah.
a really rhythmic bass line and some kind of atmospheric guitars and some really tight drum parts. Like, it sounded very Deftones.
Yeah, so my note literally says, last song is a straight sludge banger.
Yeah. It was like this atmospheric sludge jam with just this heavy, really present snare that's just the center of the mix.
Yeah,
and it's good.
so I noticed that in this one and the next
The
one.
snare's so good. What do you think, Aayush?
Yeah, it's very sludgy influence. It kind of sounds like Saint Vitus at times. Even I Hate God.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could see older Saint Vitus for sure. And
Yeah. I
definitely,
Hate God.
Definitely I Hate
Some of
God
those
for
riffs
sure.
are so similar
Yeah.
to I Hate God.
Yeah.
Dope Sick.
Yeah.
Something out of
Surprising to
Dope
hear
Sick.
from Buckethead. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like, it definitely fits with pretty much, I mean, a lot of Buckethead's material oddly would fit very well with kind of the Cajun and Southern sludge stuff. You
Yeah.
know? I think in another life he was definitely a chronic alcoholic in Super Joint Ritual or something.
Super divorce ritual.
I think that might be the name of this.
That's the name of the episode. It's pretty good.
It's not even a good pun. It's just funny because
It's just stupid. Because of course they're divorced. Yeah. Pretty good vibes though. The mix on this one's really good.
the mix is really good. The production is solid.
Yeah.
The drums are well programmed and have
Yeah.
I don't know, they sound real, which is kind of what I use for the measure of are these well programmed drums.
Yeah. If it's not distracting,
Yeah.
Like-
or honestly, this is one of the few Buckethead albums where I'm like, damn, these drums sound good.
They do sound really good. They must have bought a new pack,
Sample pack, yeah.
a new sample pack.
Yeah. So at
nice.
the end of every review for an album, we talk about Aayush. So I don't know if you noticed, but on the cover of all of these Pikes, it says Buckethead Land. And Buckethead
Yes,
Land
and
is
there's
the
this,
fictional theme park. Yeah.
And there's this small box that says the Pike number,
Yes,
which
yes,
Pike it is,
absolutely.
and
Yeah, and so Buckethead Land is the fictional theme park that Buckethead has, and so at the end of each Pike, we talk about what the Pike would be a good soundtrack to in the park.
Like in an imaginary theme park.
Yeah, and so personally, I think this should be played at the dining area at Big B's Bucket of Ribs Smokehouse and Whiskey Den.
Wow. Okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that tracks. I was thinking if there's any kind of Is that the Golden Corral equivalent for Buckethead Land? Because like that's what I was thinking.
It's the closest thing to Golden. He doesn't have like a buffet restaurant because those don't make any money, especially at a theme park. That'd be fucked.
That would be fucked.
So it's more just like a kind of a very high priced place that's like it's all like rustic wooden everything. Like it's non-lacquered wooden everything, and you come in and they're like, "Welcome to the whiskey den," and then just like there's like smoke blowing everywhere is like an effect, and you know like there's like just guitars on the wall that look like they've like, been waterlogged from being in the sea for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a vibe. You ever gone to a buffet and like brought a container with you and filled it up with stuff?
So, Spencer, I believe you have been with us when we went to a buffet with my grandmother at the time.
Oh, yeah.
She was my grandmother at the time because she has since died. Rest in piss. But we went to Zupa several times, and I think you were there when she would bring like the gallon freezer bags, the Ziploc bags, and just stuff them full of like corn muffins and shit. And then like when we were walking out of the restaurant, she's like, "Don't let anybody see this," and she tries to slip us the big fucking freezer bag of corn muffins, and I'm like, "I don't want these corn muffins, Grandma." But yeah,
that's such an old person thing to do.
Yeah, it's like she never even lived through the Great Depression or anything, so she has no reason to, like, I don't know. She's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Buffets are a weird thing. Are buffets a thing where you live, Aayush?
Yeah. Buffet, they're everywhere. I mean, we have, like, huge ceremonial wedding parties, and then there's every kind of buffet imaginable. So a lot of people, some people do, as you said, like stuffing shit in the containers. People do that here as well. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and so one thing that I'm aware of is like Hindus are really big into buffets. Like you know, especially like Hare Krishnas. I used to go to a Hare Krishna church for the free food, and every Sunday they would go all out with a giant buffet. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
If you're considering like temples and a lot of huge temples, there are free buffet style free food distributions, and
which is awesome.
You probably heard of the Golden Temple, right?
Yeah.
In Golden Temple, the Sikhs they give free food to people every single day.
Hell yes, Sikhs
That's
rock.
so dope.
We've talked about how much Sikhs rock on this podcast before. They're really the best of us, and they have fucking sick ass daggers, which is like the coolest shit.
Yeah.
Tight. So Pike 131.
Yeah,
there's another one we listened
part
to.
1. So I listened to these out of order. So I listened to this one before Down in the Bayou Part 2.
Nice, which I feel like either way works pretty well. Like the way that I listened to it was nice because it went from like heavy to like atmospheric, which I think is a fun transition.
Right. Although I do feel like listening to the song Down in the Bayou Part 1 before you listen to the song Down in the Bayou Part 2 is kind of advantageous because it really like Down in the Bayou Part 1 really sets a scene. And it's this it's like it goes back and forth between like these melodic explorations between bass or guitar, and he just like kind of does like different measures on bass and different measures on guitar, but like everything is super like David Lynch type soundtrack stuff. Like it sounds like Twin Peaks music with that like really delay saturated Telecaster sound again that he used in one of the most recent Pikes. That was really awesome.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Like, what is Bayou?
Oh, a bayou?
Great question.
A bayou is like it's a very specific term used by Creole people in the American South, like around Louisiana and Georgia specifically. So it's a French word that is mostly been adopted by like Southern people in the United States, and it basically means it's a type of wetland. It's like kind of swampy. But it's more than a swamp. It's like wetter than a swamp. It's like if a swamp had even more water, and it's just like it's a very specific type of land in the American South.
Yeah, totally. So it's like a swamp, awesome. Basically.
Indeed. So the rest of this album, Pike 131, the other names besides Down in the Bayou Part 1 are Swamplands, Moss, and Murky Waters, all of which are like very descriptive of the songs, I'd say. They're
I would
very
agree.
like sludge drone kind of. Like this album is a lot dronier than the previous album. The previous album, Down in the Bayou Part 2, is a lot, I'd say, more active, whereas this one is a lot more tonal and a lot more harmonic.
Yeah, it's a lot more atmospheric. It reminded me, like, parts of it reminded me a lot of the band ISIS.
Yes, absolutely.
I talk about them a lot when I talk about, like, moody, like, atmospheric, like, heavy, sludge, heavy, like, post-metal kind of vibes. That or, like, Neurosis, almost, like...
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, Neurosis, ISIS, that kind of vibe, which is cool to see, like...
Yeah, the Neurosis similarity is really huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like, you can definitely hear it, and... it's cool to hear Buckethead, of all people, like, make something like that. Like, he's gotten kind of close before, but this, I feel like, is the most concentrated effort in that particular type of style that I've heard from him. And it's interesting in that kind of a context.
There's definitely a lot of points in which he does sludge. Is like early as Pike 16, The Boiling Pond. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of stuff on that. Even Pike 19, Teeter Slaughter. Pike 21, Spiral Trackway, Pike 30, Mannequin Cemetery, Pike 70, Snow Slug is super sludgy.
Yeah.
Actually, no, that one's like a mix between like 70s rock and whatever. Then 76, Caterpillar. There's a lot of Buckethead stuff that's actually super sludgy, but this is definitely the droniest, I'd say, of the sludge head.
And it sounds the most like post-metal-y to me of any of the stuff that we've heard so far. Like, this is the one where like I could see a post-metal band putting out something like this.
And the last album, because the last track on part 1 or part 2
is real cool, and it's got that really like heavy atmospheric kind of vibe.
Stuff, yeah.
What's post memes, you guys? Like, we just yell things about divorce at each other in the streets?
No, memes are the last thing. We're done after this. Like, nuclear war ends us before memes are over.
Nice. Okay. Got it. I'm in.
Either that or 3D memes, I guess. Like,
like augmented reality memes?
No, just memes about 3D, the guy in the gang from Back to the Future Part 1.
Okay.
Who wore the 3D glasses.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or I guess the guy from Massive Attack. He's 3D too, I guess. That's fine. So I really like this Pike a lot. I think it would be a great soundtrack to the Whiskey Den of Big B's Bucket of Ribs, Smokehouse, and Whiskey Den. So this only plays at the bar. This one only plays at the bar because this is for depressed people who are drinking whiskey.
I did drink a beer while I listened to it today.
Ah, cool.
So I guess that tracks in a way.
It's not whiskey. It's not
whiskey
enough,
though.
Spencer.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Not
I could have drank
enough.
whiskey. I have whiskey thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, what y'all think would be a good soundtrack to?
That's a good question. I would say this guy is probably, like you said, I think I like the idea of any kind of an area where you like don't have to move around too much. I feel like that's pretty good. Like, if there's like any kind of, I got nothing. You got me.
Don't. That's fair.
Just cut all that out.
It happens. Pike 132, Chamber of Drawers, released on April 29th, 2015, the next day after Pike 131.
Do you think that he wrote this one in a day?
I think he could have. It's like
I think he could with any of these, but
This one felt like the most written in a day of the 3 this week, I'd say. This
Certainly,
was like a
yeah.
big alt metal jam session, which is like what Buckethead kind of does the most. And so I feel like it's definitely what's the easiest for him, the most streamlined of the processes. So
It reminded me a lot of Pike 130, but like just less interesting. Like it had a lot of like sludgy riffs and a lot of like
ish. I don't know. This one was like a lot more. I don't know. Not as down-tuned and not as pentatonic, and also just not as like minor at all. Like it was so much happier than the other two albums. Yeah.
I definitely didn't feel that way about it.
Really?
No, it felt very similar to Pike 130 to me, but just a little bit different and a little bit less fun. But not horrible, but also not my favorite.
It was fine. And then I felt like it kind of like the halfway point. He uses a lot of elements in this album, except for drums. Definitely not drums, but he definitely employs a lot of like black metal elements in this album. He uses a lot of the same kind of black metal chords and chordal structures, and he does specifically this part where he's just doing a chord, but he's tremolo picking the entire chord. And he does it for like a minute and a half, and he never does that in like anything. Like he very rarely tremolo picks anything besides single notes. And so it definitely like kind of caught me off guard. It was cool. And like if you put vocals over some of this, it would definitely just be like black metal. But kind of weird black metal because the tones are kind of garbage. I also hated the bass tone on this album. The bass tone was not very good.
I didn't notice the bass tone.
You never noticed the bass tone, Spencer. It sounded very much like a picked P bass.
I feel like as a society, we don't need to acknowledge the bass tone.
Shut up.
No, I'm joking. It's always nice to hear a good bass tone, but like I feel like I don't notice a bad bass tone all that often.
I do. Some of us do. Some of us notice the bad bass. And this one definitely had some bad bass. Honestly, like this one was definitely the least common denominator of these three albums this week. It was fine. It just wasn't great. It's very average Buckethead, I'd say. Sure.
Ayush, what'd you think?
Yeah, it's kind of mid compared to like the other two Bayou releases, and it didn't really struck me as good as the previous two records, the previous two Pikes.
Indeed.
Agreed. Yeah. It's an interesting like style though. So like we forgot to ask you, but typically before we start talking about the records, we ask like, what's your level of experience with Buckethead? What do you know about him? We didn't talk to you about that. So like we should talk about that really quick. What did you know about Buckethead before going into this?
So yeah, I was introduced to Buckethead around 2015. So at 2015, I was in school, and this friend who used to be a metalhead reignited my interest in most metal stuff. So he gave me a flash drive full of CDs, and there used to be this Buckethead song. I just read the name. I didn't really listen to it at all. So I just know the names, but I've not really gotten into Buckethead until now. At the time of recording this
that's
podcast.
great. We love to be a starting off point, so to speak. But the reason I bring that up is because like these three records are, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily say they're the iconic Buckethead sound, so to speak. Like Buckethead is mostly known for his like shredding guitar, which he doesn't really do any of that in these three albums, which I just think is kind of funny. But it's still like, I think this one in particular is an interesting sound for him because it's just like Brett said, unusual, not quite the same thing.
Indeed.
Hell yeah. What do we think it would be a soundtrack to?
I kind of had trouble with this one because it's like, I don't know.
I got one. Okay. If there's like a... do you think there's a hotel in Buckethead Land?
Yeah, we've talked about a hotel on the outskirts of Buckethead Land before. Pretty much every theme park out there has a hotel attached to it.
So I'm imagining there's a hotel, and I'm imagining there's facilities in the hotel, right? And as part of the facilities, there's probably a gym. And I think that this is the music that plays in the Buckethead Land Hotel Gym.
Okay, yeah, it's okay. It's good gym music. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, it's not like, because it's not super aggressive, but it's also like it's not slow. So it's just like kind of right there in the middle. It's inoffensive, working out tunes.
Yeah,
pumping iron tunes.
Yeah.
Hey, Britt and Aayush, you want to go on a fucking journey with me?
Sorry, that was rude. Let's do that again.
No, leave it
in. Okay. Yes, I'd love to go on a journey, Spencer. Where to?
Oh, you know where.
Statements from the Bucket
Oh my God. Wow. Okay, we're here. This is the part of the show where we shine a light into the darkest possible recesses of the internet outside of 4chan, and that is YouTube. And, some other stuff too, maybe. You read some comments, talk about what the people are talking about, see what they have to say. Kick things off here, mention a band that was already mentioned today. YouTube user, you don't love Buckethead, I can't trust you, Hilde, says, nobody ist more doom. Sorry, Saint Vibus.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I got that. It's, I get the Saint Vibus thing.
Yeah?
I usually mention that for sure. Yeah,
it's a Saint Vibus.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah.
No, you shouldn't. It's garbage. Shut up.
I like that. Saint Vibus is fun. That's less of a stretch than any of the other puns you've made in the past year, Spencer. Come on.
Yeah, all of my puns are a stretch.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I'm giving you credit. All right, take it.
All I've got is the way my horrible brain, puts together reality, and most of the time it just doesn't make sense to anyone, let alone me. So
I agree with everything you just said there. That was the truest statement you've ever made from the Bucket Boy.
Wow. Thanks, Britt.
You're welcome. I'm agreeing with you, dude.
I appreciate that.
You're right. I'm validating you. You're valid.
Yeah,
right?
I am. I'm valid. Thanks. Welcome to Getting Head, a valid cast.
Hell yes.
A validation cast. YouTube user Greg Horman says 6 years ago, some people are normal. Some record and release 3 albums in a 6-day span. Seriously, how the fuck does he do it?
By some people, he's specifically talking about one people. There's no other some people who do this.
Yeah. I admire Buckethead's work ethic, but also like what he's doing is totally attainable within the time frame he does it.
Yeah, it's just like only if you like don't have to work.
Yeah, basically, if it was my job to just sit around and make music, I'm not saying that I'm Buckethead at all, or I'm not saying I'm as good as Buckethead, but like the basic foundation of what you need to know to do that, just like sit down and make a fuck ton of music. Yeah, I know how to do that, and it's doable. Like as long as you work at it, So it's interesting, but. I like people being amazed by that. I mean, he did make a lot of fucking albums.
He did.
2015 specifically.
Every day.
Yeah.
I think like, man, Buckethead just keeps making shit. That's nuts.
It's bucks for sure. Weineke357 says 2 years ago, fuck yeah, bucket space head saved my soul. Do you think he's saying fuck yeah, bucket, head saved my soul? Or fuck yeah, Buckethead saved my soul?
I will say, give me the buck, boys, and buck my soul. I want to get lost in your bucket roll and drift away.
Yeah, there's almost a joke there.
Almost. I'll cut it out, don't worry.
So... There are a few people commenting about the sludge nature of the Pikes this week, and a couple of those comments were kind of funny in the way that they put them together. YouTube user P. Tracy says, "Yeah, so sludgy and heavy, I can't get enough.
What do you think?
Murky water is head-banging, gnarly bucket at his best."
Yeah. Murky water is good. What do you think the P stands for in his name?
Obviously, penis.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, penis. Penis Tracy.
Penis Tracy. It's like, well, he's Dick Tracy, but like.
Oh wow.
He's saying he's saying the quiet part out loud.
Oh man, that meme. It's a meme right there. You just take the cover of Dick Tracy, you change it to Penis Tracy.
It's not that funny.
I think it's pretty good.
I think something like pointing out how Dick Tracy villain Prune Face looks like a scrotum might be funnier.
I'm not familiar with Dick Tracy at all. Like, I don't even get that joke, but I want to get it. I want to believe.
Wow, I will. I'll send you a picture of Dick. I'll send you all the Dick Tracy villains, Spencer. I'll send you dick pics for sure later.
Dickless Tracy.
Dickless Tracy. Yes, Dick Cage.
Dickless Cage.
Dickless. A chastity cage is short for Dickless Cage.
What?
I don't know. Keep going.
Nicholas Chastity Cage. There you go. Directly below that comment, we've got Jim Moeller, who says, "Anyone else get the down NOLA riffs here? That has the vibe all over it. Gritty and dirty."
I believe I was the one that mentioned down. And NOLA.
Yes, that's correct.
So
yes.
we've got a 2 for 4 references of sludge bands here.
Yeah,
we're
doing
as long as we
really
get
good.
A super joint ritual and a
yeah.
What else did we have? An ISIS maybe.
Super custody ritual.
Super joint custody ritual. super joint custody. That's the one. That super joint custody is the name of the episode.
That's pretty good. I like that whole bunch. We're dumb. I love that.
I hate us. All right, next.
YouTube user Blizerk9 says 4 years ago, low down Bucket Town, dig it. Yeah.
Dan Blizerkian.
Okay. Somebody had to tell me who that guy was recently, because I've never heard of that person until somebody sent me a post of that dude's, and I was like, who is this? So then I read his Wikipedia page, and I still don't really understand who he is or why he's notable at all. So he just has a fucking lot of followers on Instagram.
He's the poster boy of late stage capitalism. His father made a ton of money doing something super shady, and so he has been this international playboy, making money, quote unquote, off of poker, playing poker for years, and professional gambling, which we all know there is no way to make money professionally gambling. What he's doing is losing a little bit of money and cashing out the winnings in order to launder his dad's dirty money. And it's a very open secret. I'm very surprised no one's been caught in this, but it's the dude's he's this jet setter, this guy who will never have to work a day in his life, and just pays women to take pictures with him, and has this Instagram lifestyle. He spearheaded the idea of an Instagram lifestyle, and I hate everything about him.
Okay. Yeah, sounds bad.
He's literally the opposite of Buckethead.
Yeah.
There's tons of videos on YouTube where they say that everything he does is fake.
A big fakeist, if you will.
Yes.
It's self-evident. It's self-evident that he fakes a lot of things.
100%.
Why would you want to be a faker?
if
especially if
you
you have that much money, you could literally just... I mean, he pays women to hang out with him. He could save that money.
It gets all the clicks.
But he doesn't need clicks. He's got an unlimited amount of money. Like he could.
He just wants to be popular.
Why do people need clout? It's so weird to me. It's like people need to be like have this weird.
I think like clout is a much. I think clout. I think clout is a more stronger drug than money in itself. And when these two things combine, it's.
I mean, both clout and money are stand-ins for true power, which is what I mean. A lot of people just like crave, and people feeling empowered like leads them to need a feeling of power. And so, instead of actually like doing things that provide a real sense of power, like community and having friends who validate you, and just improving the world around you, they go about ways of just like curating clout and money, and it's so empty, It's so empty.
Yeah,
it's bucket empty, bruv.
The bucket's empty, and you hate to see it.
It is.
So we are truly blessed this week, in the sense that we have the return of one of our favorite YouTube commenters.
We certainly do.
We love this particular YouTube commenter so much that I made us a little sting about him today.
You did. And so you made a little sting, but I actually didn't believe you were going to make a little sting. So I made 2 stings before you made your sting. So choose a number between 1 through 3, Spencer, so we get either your sting or one of mine.
2.
2, here we go.
Master of the ship key, a bucket god divine. Come into extraordinary, it's time for Jordan Vine.
Hell yeah, Jordan Vine, here he is, back to lay some knowledge on us. Jordan Vine says 3 years ago, and I haven't got everything he's ever composed, been involved with, or done, but I do have an awful lot of it. I like the passion there. He goes on to say...
The passion of the vine.
The passion of the vine. And also, I know he's done stuff with other bands and artists, but I'm not interested in that. I'm only interested in his own stuff, his own music, because I think he's much better on his own.
Hell yeah.
You love that.
Is that our Jordan Vine for the week?
That's our Jordan Vine for the week. Jordan Vine.
Wonderful. Very, very me of you. I heard it. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I can do a really good impression of you.
I'd make.
I know.
That's weird.
I really wanted to fuck with you, so I tried to make my voice sound as much like yours as possible, and it does sound like you.
You did a pretty good job. You don't sound unlike me. Like, I heard it, I'm like, if I didn't, when you first texted me, I just, started thinking of those lyrics, and so I had it stuck in my head, but if I didn't, I would have made something like probably that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Well done.
Thank you.
Do you want to hear the third Jordan Vine song real quick?
Please, let's lay it on me.
Master of the shift key, a bucket bot divine. Commenter extraordinaire, it's time for Jordan Vine.
We actually have a secret Jordan Vine. We're gonna lay it on you. It's a very polite. It's a different side of him.
Really? Okay.
He just says, I love being a Buckethead fan. Now, I've never seen him live, but I listen to him every day and love and adore listening to him every day. And I haven't said anything bad or negative about him or his music, and I love his music and absolutely everything he does, so that surely makes me a fan, and I feel incredibly honored, proud, and privileged to be one.
Oh, Jordan Vine, that's really fucking sweet, dog.
It is actually, and it is true. He has never said a negative thing about Buckethead.
He is really super posy, even though, he's definitely got caps locks problems.
Maybe his computer's just broken. Who knows?
I'm okay with that because his heart is working just fine.
It's working overdrive, caring about bucket life and bucket problems.
Mm-hmm.
Lori Lay says something that I find distressing. This is on Pike 131, down in the Bayou, part 1, and she says, she says, could I say this is his sexiest Pike? And maybe.
Wait, which one?
131. Down in the Bayou Part 1.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of drony. If you're into, like, drone, drone can be sexy. I feel like more like the post-metal side of drone, like, of course, you got Deftones. It's, like, the sexiest music. But a lot of that is not just the drone, but the fact that, like, Chino is just, like...
Whispering.
Right next to the mic. Making sounds. Yeah, it's like it's mouth articulation metal more than anything. It's like I could just go, and that's half of Deftones lyrics right there.
It's ASMR metal.
I read a comment somewhere that says Deftones is ASMR metal.
Yes, 100%. Well, yeah, we've that meme's been made 1,000 years ago.
Sure.
You're not the first one to come up with that, Spencer.
Oh, I didn't think so.
No, you're not wrong, but you're not original. You didn't come original, Spencer.
Yeah, that only happens a few times a day.
I know. I see your sock on the chair back there.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about that.
I don't worry about it.
What I do worry about is Alex Peck banging his girlfriend to Buckethead.
Why do you worry about that? They probably
Britt, I'm worried about that because of your statements in the past.
That's true.
You're on record saying you cannot have sex to Buckethead.
No, I'm saying I can't come to Buckethead. I'm not saying no one can possibly come.
I'm pretty sure you said no one can come listening to Buckethead.
You know what? I'm pretty sure you're right.
But apparently, Alex Peck and his girlfriend, Alex Peck is definitely coming to Buckethead.
Listen, no, he doesn't say he comes, though, right? Does he? Does he say, I come into my girlfriend to Buckethead, or just he fucks her? Because my statement from the Bucket Void was, you can't come. I didn't say you couldn't have sex. This dude might be on, 50 milligrams of Wellibutrin, and he just can't come, Because it's like either I'm a terrible person... or I just come a lot, which is really kind of the human condition.
They're one and the same. They're intertwined.
They're the
yin
human
and yang
condition.
of society,
That's the Jekyll and Hyde is... What? No, okay. Go. Keep going.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so one fun thing about living in Seattle is one of the main streets in Seattle is Pike Street. As a result, there's a lot of businesses that also share addresses with Pikes that we listen to. This week, the address that we have is 130 Pike Street, which is the address for a restaurant named Ben Paris.
Ben Paris.
I don't know anything about this restaurant, but there's a lot of reviews for it online. We're only going to talk about two of those reviews. The first one is from local guide Bill Fermage, who left this review a year ago. And he says, quote, 1 star, music. Improper for setting, limiting enjoyment of meal. All in all, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone ever.
Just because of the music?
He says some other stuff, but I like that summation of it.
Okay. I don't know. I'd say... going to a place and having them have music that is just completely incorrect for the atmosphere, that definitely takes it down a star for me.
I could see that. I mean, it kind of depends on the music. I feel like anything outside of pop I'm usually fine with. Yeah,
but I mean, it depends, though, because, if I go into, a metal bar, right, and they're playing, top 40 stuff, I'm gonna be like, yeah, what's going on here?
Or Ghost Main. Yeah. I'd be like, come on, this is the metal bar. What are you doing?
Hey, listen, one of our former guests, Mark Branzino, played for Ghost Main.
So of course, and I'm not hating on Ghost Main. I'm just saying, it's not appropriate for a metal bar. I don't think
it's metal. It's metal tangential. It's metal enough.
It's not something I would want to hear in a metal bar.
It's not something you would want to, but it is something a lot of 21-year-old girls would want to hear.
Yeah, and I don't.
Which is what brings other people to metal bars in the first place, is knowing that there's people to prey on.
Oh no! Okay, we're gonna wrap up the Ben Paris section with a review from C. Fisher. I'm not gonna go great into detail on their review, but I am going to read the last sentence, which is fantastic. So 8 months ago, they left Ben Paris 1 star and said at the very end of their long complainy review, they said, "This type of service is disgusting. I am the CEO of a global fashion brand and could have spread the word about their business. Instead, I can only share the taste they left in my mouth."
Global fashion brand. I bet it's like some company that only makes cargo shorts.
Yeah, something super lame.
Yeah.
100%. Or like the company that makes like shitty distressed band t-shirts for Target.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like that kind of shit where they just license Guns N' Roses and Iron Maiden and then make shitty t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
you hate to see that. You really
fashion
do.
Brand.
Okay. Lastly, but certainly not least, we're going to wrap things up with one of my favorite segments. In this case, it's a slight modifier. This is an excerpt of a conversation you and I had.
Okay.
So we're going to share my comments here as well. So on June 10th, 2018 at 7:48 p.m., I texted you via our group chat and said, quote, "Okay, I've been thinking a lot about something. Strip clubs have bathrooms. Presumably, then, there exists a percentage of men who not only frequent these clubs, but also take shits in them. I love the idea of a strip club regular where taking a shit is just part of the visit."
Okay, so
hold on.
No. Okay.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. Okay. I'm just gonna do a little bit here. So, I follow that up by saying, quote, these are like actual quotations here. "I go to a place to give naked women my money in exchange for boners. I also like to shit there." And then it says, dash, "a pretty cool guy."
Very cool guy, I'd say.
You responded by saying, quote, "I'm dating a couple strippers. Let me ask them." So there's more to this, but now's a good time to interject.
So, when it comes to strip club bathrooms, I don't know if I've ever told you this story before, Spencer.
I hope not.
So, I was in Pennsylvania a few years ago, right?
Uh-huh.
And right outside of Chester, there is a giant casino called a giant Harrah's casino that they built there, like maybe a decade or two ago. And me and my cousin and my brother went there and just like gambled one night. We were just kind of having a guy's night. My cousin Kenny's like super rad dude, but he like works on Wall Street in a not super terrible way, but he does work for a terrible company, but he's a super nice guy and he just likes to hang out, gamble, whatever. He's one of those guys.
Sure.
So we go to this casino and afterwards Kenny's like, "Hey, you want to go to a strip club?" And we're like, "Sure." He's like, "Yeah, I'll pay for y'all." We're like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool." So we go to the strip club, and it was like called like Island Sands or something like that. I just remember there were palm trees on the sign, so it was something like Island whatever. And we go there and we notice there's a bunch of bikes outside, and when we walk in, we see this poster and it says like Biker Night, and so we go there on Biker Night, which is super cool. But we're hanging out. We like get a lap dance each or whatever, and we're just hanging out and drinking Bud Lights because that's the only thing there that's less than like $5. It's
pretty good.
I have a couple Bud Lights, so I need to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, right? And I'm taking a piss, and like I look the way I do, and I'm obviously not there for Biker Night, and they have a bathroom attendant there, right?
Whoa.
And he's just hanging out, doing whatever. He's just a regular white guy, and I'm just like taking a piss or something. And he's like, "Hey, you look like a rocker." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't look like you're from around here, though, are you?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Seattle." And he's like, "Oh, sick, dude, sick." And then he just doesn't talk for a minute, and I finish peeing, and I'm like washing my hands.
Wait, no, hold on. He talked to you while you were peeing?
Yeah, 100%.
Nice.
Yeah.
What a move.
And there was also like a giant biker Like, I'm a big person, but there was like a giant biker, like a person who made me feel small, taking a dump in the stall, like right next to this the whole time, right?
Amazing.
Right. And so I'm washing my hands, and this guy's like, "Hey, you're from Seattle, and you're like you're a rocker. I make music, and it's like kind of, I don't know, I call it like acoustic grunge. I'm like really influenced by like those Seattle type things, like, Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, and like, I don't know. I have a demo, and you want to listen to it? And, it's biker night at the strip club. There's a giant of a man who looks like just a fucking overblown Stone Cold Steve Austin taking a dump in the stall right there. And I'm like, I can't be mean to this guy. Like, yeah, I'll listen to your EP. And so
amazing.
And so he gives me like his shitty plug-in headphones and like makes me listen to. She was like, I listened to this like 8 or 9 minute 2-song EP there in a strip club restroom.
No.
On biker night.
No.
And like the fucking giant dude like finishes taking a shit and like comes out and washes his hands while I'm listening to this, and I'm like, guy, can I make a break for it after? But I don't, and I just listen to it, and it was a defining moment in my life and a reason I don't go to strip clubs.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
It was I came out afterwards, and my brother and Kenny, my cousin, were like, "What? You were in that restroom for like 15 minutes. What happened?" And I'm like, I'll just tell you later. Like, I was legitimately traumatized from this experience. It was too much for me.
And then you were like, I can't go to the bathroom for the rest of the night because this fucking guy is going to talk to me about his acoustic grunge.
Exactly.
I can't have this acoustic grunge.
I tipped him well, and like I had already listened to his music, so I'm like, I can just do whatever I need to in the restroom now, and he's going to love me because I'm the rocker from Seattle who's like not this biker who didn't tip him like $3 for just for the pleasure of listening to a shitty EP.
It's amazing that, like, okay, that's the most incredible hustle I've ever heard in my life. Because, like, you corner people in a bathroom. That's a vulnerable place,
right?
Like,
especially if you were there on biker night and you're only cornering the non-bikers.
Yeah.
Like, cause, bikers are there on biker night. Obviously, this is a place that bikers hang out, in a place they have community. So
they're on biker business.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, it's a whole different. There's so many layers to exactly the trauma I experienced that night, and I should probably talk to a therapist about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That's wonderful. Anyways, you shared some screenshots to the chat of you asking your stripper friends about people taking shits in the bathroom.
I do remember this. I am wonderful, aren't I?
Okay, so the screenshot that you shared does not show the whole text, so I'm only going to read the last 2 paragraphs, or the last paragraph and sentence, but there's like some stuff up, and then what I can see here is, but this came up in one of my group chats and thought you might have some insight, : is there anybody you know / heard of who comes into the strip club in part to take a shit in the club restroom? Sorry, I had to ask that, and then a sad face emoji.
I love me like 3 years ago. I'm great.
The response is 2 separate text messages. The first one says, "What?"
I can tell you which one that was.
And then the follow-up was, "I just laughed so hard." Which is great. The other screenshot.
I know the other screenshot. I know who that is. Go for it.
Says, is there anybody you know / heard of who comes into the strip club in part to take a shit in the club restroom? Sorry, I had to ask that. sad face emoji. I like that you copied and pasted the same text. Like, that's one of my favorite parts. The whole thing. You're just like, yeah, I could just like crank this one out. Just like send the same text to both people.
No, if it's perfectly worded, why do you need to try to change it? Like, come on. If it works, go with it. It's perfect.
100%. And they responded, LOL. I've never heard of that, but I'll ask around and see if there's anything there. And no worries, you can ask me whatever. A wholesome response. Yeah, that's it.
Hell yeah, wonderful.
Take a shit in your local strip club restroom, or don't. Up to you.
No, do it often. Like, go in there, tip the strippers well. Like,
yes.
Only. Don't even get like private dances for them. Just like throw them private dance money while they're just dancing. Like, just throw them a 20.
Yep.
Like
100%.
Hell yeah. Like make them work the least possible for the most money possible. Strippers are like not universally good people, but there's so many awesome strippers out there. Strippers are
agreed.
Generally great people.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't tip strip club bathroom attendants
unless they offer you acoustic grunge. Okay.
No, especially if they offer you acoustic grunge. Just knock on the stall door and be like, "Hey, you big fat biker piece of shit, you want to fight?" Because you know what? That's gonna hurt less than the fucking 9-minute acoustic grunge EP.
Statements from the
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we've come to the part in our program now where we recommend things.
Yeah.
What do you have to recommend to us?
Me?
Yeah.
You.
What's up, buddy? What you got? What's a cool thing to check out?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I've been listening to a lot of hip hop these days. The old school jazz rap kind of Digital Planets. You probably heard of them.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Oh, tight. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Heard of them. I'm friends with their main vocalist, Ishmael. Used to be a regular customer of mine.
Yeah, they're from around here.
Oh, actually, I think we talked about this because I saw them a couple of weeks ago here in Seattle. I'm Dog Vorbis, if you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I recognized you from the start.
Yeah. So, I saw him a couple of weeks ago, and I think we talked about him. I know that guy. He's super fucking awesome. Like, one of the nicest guys. He has a crazy sneaker collection. Super cool.
That's so rad.
Yeah, Diggable Planets, highly recommended. Ishmael Butler. Have you listened much to Shabazz Palaces, his current project?
Yes. Yeah. I was listening to Black Up a while ago. It's amazing. The beat choices, the samples, everything. That album is fantastic. It's actually one of my favorite albums, hip hop albums ever.
Hell yeah.
The records,
so good.
The new records are kind of like mid, not so good, but Black Up is so awesome. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Diggable Planets. When I saw them, they were performing with a full band, and it's the only hip hop concert I've ever been to where they did a bass solo. Like, the dude did like a 10-minute bass solo, and it ruled. The dude killed the bass solo, and I was like, what is happening? I'm watching hip-hop. This is amazing. You know?
That's pretty tight. I've actually been listening to a lot of hip-hop, too. I've been listening to a lot of, like, Gangstar, like, late 90s Gangstar, and I've been listening to a bunch of, like, Gangstar and Raekwon and Wu-Tang and GZA. And, like, all sorts of shit. Like, a lot of that kind of, like, jazz rap stuff, the boom bap stuff from the mid-90s and late 90s. Like, great stuff. Yeah, I love all that stuff a lot. I love... Hell yeah, Tribe Called Quest. Been listening to a ton of that.
We used to listen to a ton of Tribe Called Quest together.
Let me ask you a real question, like a hardcore question. What is your favorite Tribe Called Quest record?
Low End Theory. Hands down.
Hell yeah, that's fantastic. The only way to go. Midnight Marauders is great, and a lot
Yeah.
of people say that, but Low End Theory is where it's at. Like,
Dude, yeah, no, for real. Like, I was gonna say the same thing. Like, Midnight Marauders is amazing. Like, it's an
is.
amazing record. You like, it's essential listening if you like Low End Theory. But Low End Theory is perfect. It is a perfect album, and that is a rare thing. Like, it does not have a bad song on it. The production's incredible. The rhymes are incredible. It is truly timeless.
The bass line
very few things
defines
like it.
that album. The bass line is
Yeah.
oh, so good. And they
The
use so
bass-
many
so good,
like
yeah.
jazz bass samples. So like, it's all like
Ba-dum-dum-dum,
not all, but mostly
dum-dum-dum,
upright bass.
dum-dum-dum.
And I
Yeah,
love
it
that.
definitely is. Yeah.
I really need to buy an upright bass. Like, I'm just the right amount of bassist to do that.
Yeah.
Upright
Fuck
bass.
yeah. Well, that's tight, dude.
Yeah.
You got any particular records to recommend?
yesterday I was listening to FKA Twigs discography. Like
FKA Twigs is amazing. Just
Magdalene
just an
and,
amazing musician.
her first LP. She's extremely talented.
Yeah, amazing visual artist too. Hell yeah, in so many ways. A very, very much, I'd say like a modern Bjork, but like with a very visual like dance element to it. She's an incredible dancer. Oh my god. Yeah, super, super interesting. Really enjoy her.
Tight. Yo, Britt,
yeah.
what you got to recommend us?
I'm gonna recommend a British musical duo called A.R. Kane.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of them. They're I definitely
Oh my God,
definitely know Aayush
I think
has,
we had a
'cause,
conversation. We had a conversation earlier.
we did,
about AR
and I listened to a couple of their albums. Yeah, they're super dope. They're I don't know exactly how to describe them. They're kind of like put into the shoegaze label, but they have a lot of weird experimental elements to them. Like initially I listened to one of their albums and I thought like this is kind of like shoegaze like with elements of Talking Heads. Cuz they have a lot of that weird like rhythmic stuff with a lot of like hand percussion and then like very funky bass lines. But then, like, all of the vocals, all of the guitars are, like, super atmospheric in a very shoegazy way. But they go a lot of different places. I after that, I listened to one of their albums from the mid-'90s, and it's all interesting. It's really cool. It's
Nice.
Yeah. It's very cool soundscapes. I enjoyed the heck out of it. But, yeah, A.R. Kane.
How do I spell that?
Just the letters A-R and then K-A-N-E.
So just Arcane?
No, A-R space K-A-N-E.
Oh,
So A-R Kane.
got you.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
what I was confused about. Thanks for explaining.
Yeah, they're super good though. Yeah, just very interesting, especially coming from just two guys. There's a lot of different crazy influences going on there.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
sick.
Sick guys, huh?
Very sick guys.
I love that.
Hell yeah. What do you have to recommend to us this week that I'm going to cut out?
Thanks, Britt. I appreciate
welcome,
that.
Spencer.
No, for reals. I highly recommend, and I can't believe I'm in this place, but here I am, 2021, and I highly recommend watching a film. I recommend watching The Suicide Squad, James Gunn film from 2021. It's so fucking good. Like, I'm not a big movie guy. Like, I don't really care about movies, really, and I don't really watch that many unless they're really bad. But this one I ended up watching, and it's so good. Like, it is the most fun I've had watching a movie in a long time. It's really, really good, and I think everybody should watch it. The music's really good in it, too. There's a lot of really cool songs in it. There's like a Pixies song in there. There's a bunch of shit. It's pretty rad. Like,
Oh, great. Pixies, my favorite band.
what's wrong with the Pixies?
I don't know. They're
Hey,
not,
wait,
good.
isn't John Cena in that movie?
Yeah,
Yes,
John
yeah.
Cena's in it. So
Wait, could you see him in the movie?
What?
This is a John Cena joke.
I don't know anything about wrestling. I actually don't really know who John Cena is. Like, I actually didn't know it was him until like near the end of the movie, and I was like,
we're gonna have to talk. And
that guy looks really familiar. I need to look up who that guy is. And
you are disappointing, Spencer.
I'm frequently disappointing. It's part of my
I know,
brand.
but this is the most disappointed I've been with you. Like, I guess it's only 10, 20.
I've never watched wrestling in my life. Like, I don't know anything about it. Like, I see it come up in memes, and like I can see it come up in like there are a couple podcasts I listen to where they'll reference wrestling, but like that's about it.
So Spencer, if you're free after this, I'm gonna start taking you down just the most important points in wrestling, so you get all of the references. Okay. I can literally expose you to every single wrestling reference in probably 15 or 20 videos.
Only 15 or 20 videos.
It will
amazing.
only take you maybe 10 hours of your life, Spencer. But you will get every wrestling reference after that moment, and you will. But I need to take you down this rabbit hole because you need to know this, Spencer.
Yeah, okay. It sounds important.
I'm
into it.
Yeah, brother.
All right.
Like you make memes about wrestling, and you don't know wrestling.
I've never made a meme about wrestling.
You've never made a meme about Hulk Hogan?
Okay, I made Hulk Hogan memes, but I see. You know what? Hold on a second. Do you know what I know Hulk Hogan from? Do you know what I know Hulk Hogan from?
Do you know where he got there from?
Yes, but do you know where I know him from?
Do you know where he got there from?
I know him from the 1990s television series Thunder in Paradise. Yeah. That was my first exposure to Hulk Hogan, and that's the most like iconic for me. So like that's the first time I ever heard of Hulk Hogan.
I'm so verily disappointed in you, Spencer.
That's okay. Suffice it to say, yes, John Cena is in this film. He's good in it. The character he plays is a piece of shit, but he's good at playing a piece of shit, I guess.
He doesn't.
That's the first time I've ever seen John Cena move before.
He's usually a face. He's really good.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever heard him like say or move or anything. I've only ever seen still images of him. I've never seen him like move before, so that was a first for me.
That's insane. He moves so well, dude. He's incredible. John Cena.
Yeah. The movie is so good. Like all of the characters get like the right amount of like characterization. Like
I watched the Red Letter Media on it, so I feel like I don't need to watch it now.
No, you should watch it. It's really good. Like it's very good. It's very fun. Like all the characters get their little moments. Like it's really good.
It seems very like post-Marvel.
It's extremely
in the way that a lot
post-Marvel.
of people said that at the time Guardians of the Galaxy was a post-Marvel film.
Yeah, it is like way beyond that. Yeah. Like it's so beyond that. But it is very much in the same vein. It is that kind of movie, but like turned up even higher. Like they ratcheted it up. Like it's
well, I mean,
it's really
I think they saw the script and they said, "Turn down for what?" Which is the only song that you can come to, according to one of our podcasts.
Yeah, I listened to that the other day. That's a funny thing. I forgot I said that.
Well, if you needed to come, of course.
I mean, it seems like a true thing. Sure, so let's go with it. It's part of the Spencer canon now. Let's have that on my Wikipedia page.
Yeah, your Spencerpedia page.
Ew. Is it time?
Spence.
It's time, isn't it?
I guess.
This is the worst part of the show. Ready for it?
You're the worst part of the show.
That's true.
Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke. Ha 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 bucket joke.
According to recently released Freedom of Information Act documents, they uncovered a conspiracy in the 1960s from media companies who apparently conspired to send North Atlantic violent criminals and rapists to the United States. Have you heard about this?
No.
They called it Beatlemania.
There's so much talking to that joke that I forgot what you said by the time you said the punchline.
Are you ready? Here we go. Did you hear about this? Conspiracy they uncovered? According to recent Freedom of Information Act documents released, in the 1960s, media companies conspired to send North Atlantic violent criminals and rapists to the United States. Have you heard about that?
No.
It's, they called it Beatlemania.
Wow. Here we are.
Do you want it for a third time?
No, I followed it that time.
What
time.
penis length and band fandom have absolutely no correlation?
Like, saying like the larger your penis is, the more the fandom to your band?
Yeah, kind of. More literal. Like what actual length and band have no correlation? It's 9-inch and nails.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, that's probably true.
What's Les Claypool's least favorite thing about 12-year-olds?
Oh, no.
Taking care of the children he makes with them. What's worse than getting food poisoning from a buffet?
What?
Getting ear poisoning from Jimmy Buffet.
That's a beautiful joke. I love that so much. I should get a tattoo of that joke.
What band did Paul McCartney always say prevented the Beatles from having a full reunion?
I don't know.
38 Special. That was the gun that touched.
That's a really good joke. You should make that.
I thought so
into
too. I
that's,
was like, wow, that's terrible.
One.
What do you call the support group of men who were all molested by the same entertainment business predator?
Oh, no.
Well, the Backstreet Boys and 98 Degrees tour.
Woof.
Since Chick Corea's death, what person or group now has the most Grammys for jazz performance?
I don't know.
The Church of Scientology.
Oh, fuck. Whoa, that's gnarly. I forgot he was a Scientologist. That's so weird.
According to fans, what former Kanye West collaborator do they most want to see him work with on his next album?
I don't know.
His psychiatrist.
Pretty good.
What did Courtney Love offer Trent Reznor in exchange for writing a song for her band?
I don't know.
Head Like a Hole.
Whoa.
Half of Kanye West's 22 Grammys are in hip-hop. What are the other 11 in?
Oh, I don't know. Tell me.
Kim Kardashian's new bathroom.
He has 22 Grammys? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
17 years ago this week, going back to history, you know this, Spencer.
I do.
17 years ago this week, Dave Matthews Band tour bus dumped 800 pounds of raw sewage on unsuspecting tourists while crossing a bridge in Chicago. You've heard about this, yeah? Yeah,
Dude, somebody on my meme page messaged me and said that they know two of the people that were on the boat.
Wow. That's incredible.
I know.
But unfortunately, they were able to recover most of the 800 pounds of albums that fell off the tour bus. What's the difference between Zakk Wylde and a Tour de France cyclist?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Well, the cyclist showers between different legs of the tour.
Bucket joke.
Those were some amazing bucket jokes, Britt. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a treat for me, for my ears. I said it was the worst part of the show, and you know what? I was wrong. This week, it was my favorite part of the show.
Hey, Spencer, where can I find you? Online.
Oh, yeah. I make memes sometimes and share a lot of memes. You can follow me at New Metal Karate Society on Instagram.
It appears, unfortunately, Aayush got dropped from our call, so you can follow them at ScreamsInMerzbow. That's MERZBOW on both Facebook and Instagram. Once again, that's ScreamsInMerzbow, MERZBOW.
Oh, hey, Britt, what about you, man?
Oh, you can follow me at Dog Vorbis online.
I love that you're committed to that. It's great.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah. Well, I guess this has been Britain.
And this was
Hey, I guess this has been Britain.
And this has been Spencer.
And I'm Aayush, aka ScreamsInMerzbow.
You've been listening to Gettin' Head, a Bucketcast.
Stay greasy, Bucketheads.
Namaste.